I'm going to assume that you're familiar with The Witcher. If you're one of the two people out there that's not, I recommend the books, starting with The Last Wish. And if you're a gamer, if you're an MLG gamer, then of course, Witcher 3. I'd call it a dark fairy tale fantasy western. Nobody seems to pick up on the western aspect. These books are way more Louis L'Amour than George R.R. Martin, and that's definitely a good thing. Geralt is a cowboy. He's a brooding, lone bounty hunter, traveling savage lands from town to town on his faithful horse. He's hated, he's feared, and instead of two guns, he carries two swords, and behind him is this bloody trail of broken hearts, terrible songs, and some kind of blurry form of justice and morality. It's a western in a fairy tale world, which is perfect. It's right up my alley. It's grim, it's romantic, it's all of the above. It's really good stuff. So I guess I should also mention the Netflix series at some point. It makes sense because it's in the zeitgeist right now. So far it's not bad. The twisting around with the timeline and chronology is a bit weird and doesn't really seem to be necessary. Some of the art direction is goofy, especially with the costuming. The Nilfgaardian armor should look like this, but instead it looks like some kind of shriveled ballsack from Game of Thrones. What the hell is this? Netflix, this stuff is already built. All the concept and design work is already done by Projekt Red. They're better at this than you, way better at this.
Much better than
So
you.
Netflix, there's an affiliate link below. If you want to order the book and throw me a couple bucks, that'd be great. That'd be awesome. And then you can see why people actually fell in love with this stuff and what it took to get people to really get emotionally invested in this world and see how cool it actually is. So what else as far as the series? I think Henry Cavill is great as Geralt, and Ciri is really, really good. The casting with her is perfect, I think. Those two keep the whole thing afloat for me. Even though Yennefer is not at all the kind of Yennefer that I wanted to see, she's at least a really good actress and kind of sort of passable. Given the current cultural climate, I was expecting, Idris Elba to play Geralt and Leslie Jones to play Yennefer. So, hey, you take what you can get. People seem to forget that the reason why this franchise was so successful is that CD Projekt Red and the books are Polish, and at the time they made a fantasy world rooted really unapologetically in an Eastern European environment. Not some soulless, watered-down, globo-homo, multi-culti, forgettable rainbow garbage. Many of the stories are taking elements specifically from Polish folklore. You can feel an authenticity that you will never get by ticking diversity boxes. It's a recipe for failure, and people hate it. We're really tired of it. It's a recipe for disaster. So anyway, think about it. Do you want to see William H. Macy playing Shaft? How about Christian Bale as Black Panther? Or maybe Ron Weasley as Genghis Khan? That's ridiculous, right? Well, so is Fringilla and Triss going from this and this to this and this. It's woke nonsense that kills immersion entirely. It's only serving contemporary political agendas, not the story, and that's the problem. Does anybody want to see Taylor Swift playing a Zulu warrior? No. Maybe. Actually, maybe we do, but not really. Not for authenticity's sake. It would be really goofy. Only in a certain kind of movie, maybe. But let's continue. So, if you're new to the channel, by the way, I draw comics. So check out my DAGON and my epic LUGH video after this. You'll dig them. The links will be at the end of the video, so keep on watching and you'll see them pop up. Make sure you subscribe and like and hit the bell too. Let's get this channel up there. Let's make it grow, and thanks for coming by. Regardless, we will always luckily have the books and the games, and this compendium here is in relation to the CD Projekt Red games that take place in the Witcher universe. FYI, this is not related to the series at all, so in this book, don't expect any behind-the-scenes stuff with Henry Cavill in a bathtub. That's not going to happen. It's clearly about the games. It's not an art book either, nor is it a game guide. It's supplemental material that goes a little more in depth about some characters, creatures, locations, and concepts in the world as it relates to the games. It's put out by Dark Horse, and Dark Horse usually does a great job at art books like this, I think. For instance, their God of War is really good, Horizon Zero Dawn is really good, Mass Effect is really good, and the size and print quality here, it's really nice. It's a very substantial book. However, I have mixed feelings on this just because of the price point. It's a $50 book for what is really just a bathroom reader, I don't mean that in a bad way. It's a very casual book. It's something that you pick up, you flip to a page, you read a section, and then you set it back down. That's what I mean by bathroom reader. The writing here, it's suitable for the task, and the art is mostly good. It's 198 pages. That's pretty beefy. If this was the same content, but with a $30 soft cover, I'd have no gripes with it at all. But it's $30 of material wrapped in an unnecessary, sexy $50 outfit, if that makes any sense. I think it does. So with that out of the way, it is The Witcher though. It is for pretty hardcore fans, and it is work from CD Projekt Red, which is great. You can tell a lot of the best art pieces are in other books. So here in this one, you have a lot of previously unseen pieces because they obviously want to show new material rather than just repeating and recycling their best images like those seen, say, in the collector's edition. You want the diehard fans to feel like they're getting different material, which you have here. Luckily, they need a ton of concept art for these games, so you end up with a nice variety of art. It's not all just overdone renders with Photoshop or Photobash paintovers. You have some cool comic stuff in here as well, and some unique painted pieces that I really appreciate. Every time I pick this up and flip through it, I just want to go back in and play the game or keep making my way through the books. So in that sense, it's mission accomplished. I'm normally not into this kind of thing. I actually prefer not to know every detail of a world. I like not knowing. I like unanswered questions. That's where the mystery is. But they leave enough open here despite it feeling a little encyclopedic. The writing is pretty flat. There's portions that are written by Dandelion, and there's these excerpts from books in the world itself. These are my favorite bits. I think the Dandelion side of it is a bit of a missed opportunity. It doesn't really work. Perhaps if there was a different art direction, maybe if the entire thing was presented as an object from this world with these fragments, it would work better. Perhaps a few moments where you don't know if Dandelion is lying to you or not, or exaggerating. We need to see more of his personality in here for it to really work. You're stuck with a fairly bland writing style and something that feels a little bit disconnected from the universe itself. A good example of that kind of thing done right is Arthur Spiderwick's fantastical field guide to the world around you from the Spiderwick Chronicles. It's a great book. You felt like you were holding an artifact from that world, and you don't really have that here. There's very little in the way of a unique voice in this, despite it being written by an over-the-top comical character. This is probably a tricky task for the developer to do, so I understand the problem with this. You don't want to mess with the world, and really the only way to do this properly is to actually get the OG Witcher writer to do it, which probably isn't going to happen. It's still a missed opportunity and should be addressed in a review of this book. However, though, the writing is fine. It does the job. And maybe we'll see another shot at something like this in the future as the franchise grows. I do think this book is perfect, though, for those who have played the games and are now onto the books and maybe want a little cross-reference. Or you're like me and just like books filled with pictures of really cool shit. If you can get past the price, it's a solid recommend. I'd get it. If you're a super fan, you love The Witcher, you're into it, you can't get enough of it, it's worth it, for sure. Why not? It's as much as some of the little toys and statues that you get. So yeah, this I think provides more value than that. So if you're a diehard fan, go nuts, pick it up. Let me know what you guys think. What are your thoughts on The Witcher? How are you feeling about, let's say, the series? What's your favorite game? What books are you digging? For me, it's Witcher 3. And when it comes to the books, it's Last Witch and Blood of Elves. So anyway, but let me know what you guys think. See you in the next one. Thanks for coming by, and talk to you guys later.